I am making this video as an urgent response to the controversy targeting Transformers EarthSpark, particularly its non-binary character, Nightshade. Yes, as an owl, they're not making owl noises. Oh, if only it were so lighthearted. Disclaimer, this video is intended to inform an adult audience. My short celebratory video on Nightshade, the first they-them Transformer, was suddenly hit with thousands of views and hate comments. Finding out the reason why was shocking. Recently, this new Transformers cartoon has been vilified by the right wing and was attacked on Fox News. On Twitter, a negative take was supported by Elon Musk. When I look at the video stats, it reveals that the majority of the viewers are young adult men, which makes this video response relevant for addressing adults. I know how this goes. A lot of people come here to send hate without being Transformers fans or even watching the show. A lot of people won't watch this video through because they won't even bother hearing from the source. They base their opinions on what other people say about trans and non-binary people. They don't come to get to know us for how we truly are. I must say this, if you hate trans and non-binary people, or otherwise just don't agree with them, you are either being lied to or are lying to others about us. Perhaps both. There is no brainwashing or harm being done to children or anyone. Nightshade being they-them is not sexual in any way, shape, or form. Nightshade does not do anything inappropriate or romantic in the slightest, and therefore it is safe for them to be seen by children. Watch the show, and what do you see? A dorky young robot. Being transgender is not a sexuality. It is not sex. It is not perverse or disgusting. In real life, we are human. We have human bodies with no unfamiliar bits. We haven't done anything. We believe in freedom, a value I thought mattered to most people. The freedom to present yourself in a comfortable way and be comfortable in your own skin. Not conforming to stereotypical boxes is no crime. Nightshade isn't conforming to one of two boxes. Open your mind. So what if Nightshade is just Nightshade, an individual who lives in a gender-neutral way? Non-binary people very simply don't want to be defined by their bodies. At the very least, doesn't everyone relate to this broad concept in some way? To not be defined and addressed by your hair, skin, eyes, disabilities, and so forth? It's pretty strange to define people based on their physical features, to tell people they must be a certain way or assume they are a certain way for being one thing. It's uncomfortable even to form language based on what bits someone has. If anyone respects privacy more than anyone, it's the non-binary folk on whole. If anyone has more respect for the human individual, it's the non-binary people who are not forcing anyone to be anything but themselves. Nightshade is a robot, yes, so I don't know why people are freaking out this much. It's not like these robots even have biological sex. It's like demanding an airplane to be a man or a woman because you can't imagine any other form of existence. But let's say Nightshade was a human. They are still just a person who wants to live peacefully and neutrally. What of it? What has Nightshade done but be friendly, nerdy, and heroic in this show? Yes, ignorant people say that when an LGBTQ+ character appears on TV, that is their whole personality. If you believe Nightshade's entire personality is just to be non-binary, then you did not watch the show. Nightshade does so much more than tell people their pronouns. While Nightshade introduces himself 3 times with their name and pronouns, that is like 1% of all Nightshade content. So much of Nightshade's character is just them being a little scientist, an awkward indoors tinkerer who doesn't play silly games with the others. They linger on the belief that a Transformer does not need to transform to be worth something. Nightshade meets a Decepticon scientist named Tarantulas and is conflicted on the subject of if Decepticons are truly evil. When asked who they are, Nightshade does not talk about being non-binary. They have this to say.
And you, Nightshade, however you may appear, who will you be?
I'll be me, a scientist, a protector, someone who helps those in need.
So banish the idea that LGBTQ+ characters are all they have for personalities. The mentions of non-binary barely lasted a moment, but hateful eyes, they lock on and can't see the rest of the show. Personally, I think the show on whole is just okay. It's not really my taste. I like darker Transformers content like Transformers Prime and IDW. But EarthSpark is not at all harmful, it's just a goofy and colorful show. Kids and young robots play, pet cows, record home videos, and more in these episodes. There are serious topics within this show, like humans capturing and imprisoning robots, Decepticons being unable to escape judgment and live free lives. There is a plot, though a lot of playfulness that children viewers will certainly love. What kids would really take away from Nightshade is their love of science, heroism, and owlness. Because I know when I was a kid myself, I would mimic bird and bat characters, screeching and flopping around with blanket wings. Is Nightshade asking any other character to be like them? No, they're not. Are they saying why their gender-neutral existence is the best? No. Nightshade doesn't tell other robots to not be he's or she's. The human children in the show don't try to be like Nightshade. Showing that a kind of person exists does not turn everybody into that person. If you show a nurse on TV, are all kids going to want to be a nurse? What if being a nurse is presented as the most helpful and grand job ever? Do we have a ruined generation? Imagine forbidding your kids from being nurses. Imagine thinking that they shouldn't show kids nurses on TV in case it might make them want to become a nurse. What if your kids get confused and don't become the lawyer you wanted them to be? Let's not be ridiculous. Not every kid is going to see a nurse or a non-binary person on TV and want to be just like them. But maybe as they grow up and come to understand their own feelings, they will see themselves in the nurse character or the non-binary character. No one has asked them to be anything. They are free to find what makes them happy. For me, I have become much happier being a person like Nightshade. People find their own ways, now leave them be. We can show different people on screen. All that matters is that kids see that people like Nightshade are okay. If you meet someone like Nightshade, they are not weird to be laughed at or scary. Just people. Just people. Again, Nightshade didn't pose any arguments for why others should be like them. They said their name, these are their pronouns, that's it. Still, kids will care most about the science and owlness. They learn that some people out there choose not to be he or she, to live in a neutral way. And so what? What is wrong with living the neutral way? Why force people to conform? It does not kill you to do the bare minimum to be respectful. Asking for certain pronouns to be used is no different than asking someone to use your name. Are names also a form of language policing? What if I tell you my name, and you get upset because you can't call me Mike? You say, you look like a Mike, I'm going to call you Mike. That's just rude, right? You don't go around choosing names for people, then crying out language police when they correct you on their name. If a doctor asks you to refer to them as Dr. Langoro, and you refuse to say doctor, you are disrespecting them. People use the freedom of speech excuse to say what they want, but in all of these cases, you are just being disrespectful. And being disrespectful just does not fly in any professional or friendly relationships. If you want to complain about having to call people by their pronouns, you might as well complain against all names and job titles. Since you want to be a toxic person and intentionally be rude, calling everyone whatever you want to call them. Some languages don't even have gendered pronouns. In Finnish, everyone is hen. This is a very English problem. Languages like Swedish incorporated a new singular neutral pronoun, hen, but English did not establish a single word like that. Neopronouns are an attempt to have a singular word that is not they, but English has for centuries decided to use they in a singular sense to convey an unknown gender. The argument that they is only for plural is just historically incorrect. You find a pair of keys on the floor, you pick it up and remark, oh, someone dropped their keys, without even thinking about it. It's time to realize that language evolves. They is not just for plural anymore, and the context will be quite clear in your conversation if one or more people are being discussed. German gets by with sie, and sie, which is she, you formal, and they plural. So, I think you can manage. The US has laws against discrimination and hate speech. Even Twitter and YouTube have them. But this protection seems to apply to everyone else but trans people. People are allowed to spread lies about trans people, call us pedophiles, call us dangerous and disgusting, dehumanize us, and vilify us any way they like to the public. This is for some reason acceptable in our society, and it is messed up. Can you just imagine someone who doesn't even know you going out into your neighborhood, handing out flyers of how disgusting and bad you are, creating online videos of you just to get people to hate you? And people believe every lie they tell of you. You turn on the TV, you see the news is talking about how dangerous you are when you haven't even done anything. You appear in any space and you are unwelcomed. Someone who is like you appears on TV and everyone rages. Not one of them knows you at all or what you believe in. They make up what you believe in. They use you as the scapegoat for all of your country's problems to distract people from the real problems. It's time to stop calling a group of people a political statement. Before Nightshade, there was outrage over the main human cast simply because they are of color. These characters weren't seen as regular people, they were being called part of a woke political agenda. People said that these characters were being forced upon them, and they're saying this even about the characters in the new movie Rise of the Beasts. Skin color, hair type and color, eye color, other features, humans just have a variety of them. For a long time, main characters only had one similar set of features. It's time to be realistic and reflect the world. These are people. People look like this. They don't have to represent anything but themselves. Is Nightshade the best representation of non-binary characters? No, I would not say so. A post on Tumblr by a friend of mine spoke of how Nightshade was put on a pedestal. Only Nightshade reveals pronouns. Nightshade is treated as an oddity. My non-binary partner has pointed out that realistically, the new robots should have all begun as gender neutral. After all, they are robots. They have to grasp who they are and what human gender is. Everyone looks at hashtag and Jawbreaker and just knows what to use for them, which isn't right. Optimus hesitated with Nightshade only. I would also agree that the interaction was awkward, although it's only more awkward the more we make it so. These awkward situations happen in real life. In fact, I get called sir or ma'am back and forth because of my appearance. I don't get mad, sometimes I won't comment at all. Many trans people will correct you and try to move on right away. There is no need to consider us as aggressive or unforgiving. That's just part of the fear-mongering. My partner and I also disagreed with the scene where a non-binary human meets Nightshade and says they feel safe with other non-binary people. You cannot generalize every group of people. Personally, I've had arguments with other trans people. People out there can be nice or mean no matter what they are. The scene is kind of but is it harmful? No. Is it worth being attacked on a news network? No. This is an extreme overreaction. The comments about protecting kids from inappropriate Nightshade do not make sense. Nightshade has not done anything inappropriate or asked anyone to be like them. They are just a robot character who likes tech and turns into an owl. They have a lot going for them. It's time to calm down and see that there is no real danger present. Look at the real dangers of the world. Stop the lies and looking for a minority group to put the blame on. I appreciate Nightshade as a they-them character. While they are not the best one, it is wonderful to normalize gender non-conforming people. A character like Rain from the Owl House is a greater delight to me. I hope Transformers continues to include they-them characters and other LGBTQ+ characters, because there is nothing wrong with them. Be who you are, love who you love. We are adults. Open your mind and seek to understand a group of people before falling for lies or hating them. Support EarthSpark. Thank you.